Hi, Math 2. First topic of this week is greatest common factor. Now, greatest common factor is often abbreviated by the letters GCF. And you've heard about this term before, even though you might not have used the phrase GCF in quite a while. So, what that means is you're trying to find the largest number that two terms are divisible by. So, for instance, if I look at the terms 30 and 18, there's a lot of different numbers that those are both divisible by. 30 has factors of 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, and 6 and 5. And 18 is divisible by the numbers 1 and 18, and 2 and 9, and 3 and 6. Now, looking at those two lists, the biggest number that's included in both lists is the number 6. So I would say my GCF of 30 and 18 is 6. Now I'm going to do something similar for my polynomial expressions, or just any expression that I have. But I have to look at the variables and the numbers separately. So let's look at what I have. In part A, we have 3x squared plus 12x minus 27. Now the first thing I do is I check each of the numbers. 3, positive 12, negative 27. My greatest common factor, or the largest number that evenly divides into 3, 12, and negative 27, is 3. Next, I check the variables. I notice that both my first term of x squared has x's, and my second term of 12x has 1x. But there are no x's attached to my constant of negative 27. So my GCF can't have x involved. So my greatest common factor is just 3. Now for part B, I'm slightly different. I have the expression 4y cubed minus 10y squared. And I start the same way. I look at my numbers 4 and negative 10. The largest factor that they both have in common is 2. Now I need to look at my variables. Y cubed is y times y times y. Y squared means y times y. So they both have at least 2 y's. So my common factor for the y's is y squared, making my overall greatest common factor 2y squared. Next, I have something that's yet more complicated. 12xy cubed plus 15x cubed y squared. And again, step by step, I start with my constants. 12 and positive 15. their greatest common factor, the number they are both divisible by, is 3. Next, I need to look at my x's. I have x and I have x cubed. Since the first term has 1x and the second term has 3, that means there's 1x, or x to the power of 1, that they have in common. And now looking at the next piece, we have y cubed, which means y times y times y. But the second term has y squared, which is y times y. Well, since they both have at least 2 y's, y squared is my common factor, my greatest common factor. For a final answer of 3x to the first times y squared. Now for the last piece, I want to look at my expression 5m squared minus 10m. 5 and negative 10 are both multiples of 5. If I look at m squared, that means m times m, versus the second term, which only has a single m, which tells me that there is 1 m in common between both of them. So my common factor would be m to the power of 1, which we could also just write as m if you prefer. So that makes my greatest common factor 5m to the first power.